Hello and welcome to DCS with Lovo. This video is for those of you that are either thinking of trying DCS or have just started and could use some direction. I'll cover the who, what, why, where, when and how, although not necessarily in that order. Let's get started. What? What is DCS? DCS, or Digital Combat Simulator, is a free-to-play flight simulator PC game themed around air combat. It is an in-depth representation with the stated aim of the developers, Eagle Dynamics, being an authentic and realistic simulation as possible. This puts DCS well within the realm of a study sim, meaning reading and practice are likely to form a key part of your experience. DCS is split into two versions on two platforms, stable and open beta, on Steam and standalone. Largely, I think due to the ravenous nature of the DCS player base, everyone I have spoken to and I play on the open beta. Open beta gets updates every 2 weeks or so, with features that have been alpha tested. However, sometimes do have significant bugs that are exposed when played by the open beta player cohort. I believe most of the larger multiplayer servers are on open beta, so if you're interested at all in playing with others, I suggest going for the open beta. The stable version only gets updates when they are deemed bug-free enough to warrant pushing over. The difference between Steam version and standalone are more to do with the timing and amount of sales. What can you fly? The game comes with 2 free aircraft and there are many more you can purchase separately. The downloadable content for DCS are known as modules. These can refer to locations, aircraft, campaigns and other software. Prices vary, with the newest aircraft going for around £60. Older and simpler ones can be as low as 10. On screen now are the playable aircraft modules. Note the Su-25T, a Russian attack aircraft, and the TF-51, an American World War II trainer, are the free ones. I've organised by country of origin and then by state of release at the time of producing this video. The top ones here are feature complete, meaning they can be purchased and contain the features the developers set out to include. Then under that, early access, which can be purchased in a partially complete state and are still being developed and improved on. And finally, announced, which have yet to be released in any form, but a developer has said they are working on them. The LFs represent low fidelity modules, as opposed to full fidelity. This means they are simplified. They will have cockpits with working instruments, but you cannot interact with switches. The systems are condensed with much fewer inputs, but the performance and capability of the modules are still considerable. This is often a good place to start for someone coming in from a less in-depth game. The FFs denote full fidelity modules, where the vast majority of the cockpit controls function as in the real aircraft. This gives you full control over how you operate, but also requires you to know more about what the controls do. There are also a few free mods that are developed by enthusiastic private individuals or groups, such as the Anubis C-130 Hercules and the VNAO T-45 Goshawk. Some are reskins of existing modules, such as making the F-15C look like the F-22 Raptor. These are usually free, however DCS requires all players joining a multiplayer server to have all the same unofficial mods that the server has. This means if the server has the Goshawk and you don't, you can't join. Therefore, you mainly find these run on servers intended for a small specific group of people. As an aside, the question is often asked, what module should I get next? The answer is always, whichever one you think is coolest. What can you do in DCS? The answer here is just about anything you want. There is single player as well as multiplayer, so provided you want to do it in the available aircraft and in the available locations, the opportunities are expansive. There are options for instant action single missions, as well as training, giving you a variety of pre-made experiences for you to enjoy. You can perform air-to-air with missiles and guns, air-to-ground with guns, bombs, rockets and missiles. You can perform aircraft carrier landings or air-to-air refueling, or recreate the Battle of Britain over the English Channel. The possibilities are great. The DCS website also features a user file section, which includes a repository of missions created by others. There are some free and some paid for campaigns. Here you fly a series of single player missions that are connected in story, often with voice acting included. DCS comes with a mission editor, which may not be the most intuitive, but allows you to set up just about any scenario you could desire. So with these tools you could recreate historical conflicts, set up dogfight practice with friends, jump into a multiplayer server, and work with other players to take on the AI. You could create fun challenges, or just fly around the maps for fun. Also of note are the dynamic campaign systems, allowing you to generate missions in a created conflict, where the previous mission will affect the next one. This has been on the list for Eagle Dynamics to add to the game officially for some time, and in the meantime, some users have kindly produced their own versions that you can use. What do you need? DCS is capable of supporting a wide variety of setups. However, it won't run well on cheap or old setups. DCS is known to be surprisingly demanding on your PC, considering the game's age. The settings do go low enough for most modern systems to get a functional frame rate. I'm referring to a tower PC with a graphics card. The official recommended specs are on the screen now, pause if you need. Here is my last spec and my current spec with the general settings and frame rates I got. As it is a simulation, CPU power is in high demand. This is often people's bottleneck in frame rate, and the more going on in any given mission, the more your frame rate will drop. Safe to say, if you want to run the game at high settings, high resolutions, or in VR, you'll need a top-end PC. I recommend searching for DCS Optimization Guide and following the advice there to make the most out of your system. In terms of peripherals, you can play with just a mouse and keyboard, and some play with a joypad, but few people stick with this. For a much better experience, you are likely to want a joystick and throttle, known as hands-on throttle and stick or HOTAS, and some form of head tracking. A HOTAS will both allow you finer control of your aircraft and provide you with many easily accessible buttons that you can, to some extent, match the real-life HOTAS controls and other key functions. These range from about £60 to close to or more than £1,000. Alongside these are rudder pedals, allowing you to yaw the aircraft and to use nose wheel steering, as well as an axis control for both wheel brakes. Lower level joysticks have a twist axis that can be used in place of rudder pedals, but this may be tough on your wrist, and higher price sticks tend not to have the twist function at all. Head tracking. Head tracking means being able to control looking around in game with your head. This is very important in DCS. You'll need to inspect instruments and operate switches that may be far to one side of you, as well as keeping sight of an enemy you are dogfighting or visually acquiring a ground target. Your controller or HOTAS will be taken up with the many inputs you'll be needing to fly, denying you the ability to easily look around with control inputs. I'll group head tracking into 3 levels, the first being facial recognition based. With a webcam, the higher frame rate the better, you can access free software that recognizes the angle of your head and translates that into an amplified in-game movement. So looking to the far right of your screen will result in your in-game view looking all the way behind you to the right. Search for Face Track No IR. The next level is IR-based head tracking. With either a clip on some headphones or a hat that features infrared LEDs, a high frame rate camera with the IR filter removed tracks the position of the LEDs and performs the same movements as the facial recognition style. This takes less computational power and is generally faster, more accurate, and more reliable than facial recognition-based tracking. See products from companies such as TrackHat, Declan Clip, and TrackIR. Finally, the highest and most expensive level is a VR headset. This takes a powerful PC to run at a reasonable frame rate, and you'll no longer be able to take advantage of notes or reference material you could have on your desk or a second screen. But you will have one-to-one head tracking as well as a 3D view. 3D is known to make certain tasks such as air-to-air refueling easier, as well as improving immersion. The final thing you'll need is time and patience. You can have all the toys I just mentioned, but you'll still have to put in the time to learn an aircraft or a specific skill set by air-to-air combat. Why? Why play DCS? I thought it best to cover this after listing all that information about DCS. And I'll start with why I play DCS. Aside from the great community I have come to play with, I love DCS for 2 main reasons. 1. I am a big geek for aircraft and flight. So being able to virtually fly fast and exciting aircraft is really enjoyable for me. 2. I like a game where the differentiating factor between success and failure is me. There is no pay to win in DCS, no levels giving you more hit points, no armor you can grind for to put you above other players. You succeed because you know what to do and when to do it. It is your abilities that let you win. Someone in the most modern jet in the game can be defeated by a player in what is on paper a worse jet due to their superior tactics. That comes hand in hand with frustrations at times, but I can say no 2 missions are ever the same in DCS. If you think fighter jets are cool, I'd recommend trying DCS. And if you have experience in other flight sims, such as X-Plane or Microsoft Flight Simulator, the step will be a good challenge for you. You can do most of the stuff you can in civilian flight sims, but get to perform some combat in the middle. The free-to-play aspect removes any barrier to trying DCS. However, it is up to you if you think you will enjoy the study aspect of improving at flying DCS. Where can you fly? Due to the maps in DCS being large and requiring a lot of work from a developer to produce, there are only a few available. And as you can imagine, they cover some of the areas of past geopolitical tensions in the air warfare age. The game comes with the Caucasus map, a large swathe of Georgia and the Black Sea, featuring the border with Russia and some of the other surrounding countries. The paid terrains include two similar World War II themed maps, Normandy 1944 and the newer Channel map, covering some of the south of England, the English Channel and some of North France. For more modern flying, there are 3 paid offerings with 2 more in development. The Persian Gulf map features the Gulf of Oman, the Hormuz Strait and the titular body of water, as well as attached parts of the UAE, Oman and Iran. The Ugra Media Syria terrain features most of Syria, Lebanon, some of Israel, with a little Turkey on the top. It isn't out at the time of writing, but they say they are adding Cyprus in the near future. The Nevada map may seem like a strange addition, however it features some interesting terrain around the huge Nevada test and training area. You get a couple hundred square miles of Nevada and Arizona centered on Las Vegas, so you can see the Las Vegas Strip and the Hoover Dam. Unreleased at the time of writing but announced are another free map in the West Pacific from Eagle Dynamics, the Marianas, and a paid South Atlantic terrain alongside period combat units from RASBAM around the Falklands conflict. When can you fly? You can set the year in the mission maker to any year you like, however the aircraft start at World War II warbirds and go through to just about the end of the Cold War. So bear in mind there is a large concentration in the warbirds area and around the 1980s. How can I get DCS? Standalone. Simply navigate to the DCS website, hover over Downloads and select DCS World. Choose Stable or Open Beta version and run the downloader. Wait for the download to finish and run the game. Steam. Search for DCS on the Steam store. Scroll down to the green play button and follow the instructions. Once it has downloaded, if you want to play Open Beta, find DCS in your library, right-click and select Properties. Select Betas from the drop-down menu and choose Public Open Beta. How do I learn a module or improve? Most modules come with documentation that can be found in your DCS install folder. Then Mods, Aircraft, the aircraft of choice, and Dock. These are a great place to start. The training menu in the game itself also provides some training. These can range from step-by-step guided missions to simple videos. From here there are the ubiquitous and indomitable Chuck's Guides, found on mudspike.com. They are an incredible free resource for learning and reference. And from here, YouTube is full to the brim of YouTube tutorials of various accuracy and quality. And beyond that, you can search and ask on the Eagle Dynamics forums or social media. There we have it, my guide on getting started on DCS. Hopefully this covers most questions you may have. Feel free to drop a comment if I missed anything. Thanks for watching. DCS with Lovo.